because we need to understand that this is part of humanity. This is what can happen when we are disconnected from our hearts.
So we're back to the microcosm is the macrocosm. So when you're sitting in group and there's story and there's trauma, let's go back to the individual now, because by watching the mass trauma, by observing the mass trauma in the world and the events that are happening in Ukraine, the indigenous peoples, Iran, there's so many things going on. But by watching the individual, we can look at the exact same story happening. I humbly offer this. I believe that if we can look at our own traumas, at our own darkest night of the soul, at our own stories that we are immersing ourselves in, we can become free of them. So it's not until you stop believing you are the story and you're able to observe yourself telling the story and being the story, and then you think of, okay, what is happening and how am I recreating something that happened in my early childhood? How is this story the same story that I've been telling over and over and over? Because what happens in the first 3 to 5 years of our lives, this is what I have learned from my teacher, who is a teacher of many, many, many works, Gila Golub. What happens in our early years is that those traumas affect how we perceive and interpret the world. So as things occur, if you are in an overreactive state, you are triggered from an early memory, and you are projecting that early memory on what's happening here. It's just like my mom used to do. It's just like my dad used to do. It's just like that time. But if you're unconscious, you are buried in it. You become the story. You want to tell everybody you know about this horrible person at work today who treated you like this, but you have to realize this has been happening to you over and over and over and over. Nobody can treat you like anything. If you have this strength and consciousness, and so you're going to observe everything everybody else does as their story, and it changes everything. It changes everything. It's really hard work. It's a journey to understand that nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. Every lesson, everything that occurs is to help your spirit grow and to remember that you are a soul. That doesn't mean horrible things don't happen or that you deserve them. That's not what I said. The ultimate understanding is I am a soul and I'm here to remember that, and how can I carry that into the world and shed some of the trauma and deal with some of the trauma. Don't push it down, because pushing it down makes it just a volcano. It will come, it does come, and it comes in forms of mental illness, and it comes in forms of anxiety and depression and throat cancer. I went through a journey myself of not speaking my truth, of not being able to say some things because I found them harsh. And 2 years ago, I found myself with throat cancer. And the journey for me immediately was, I know I've been choking on things I wanted to say that I would not say, things that I would not deal with. And it's been a 2-year journey to start to deal with some of my own microcosm consciousness, not just the greater good, but that individual journey. So we have to do both. We're riding the line.
Beautifully said. And it's interesting that now you have your teacher. I'm learning similar concepts from Gabor Mate with compassion and inquiry. These teachers are now, this new level of growth has been attained, and all of a sudden different teachers are starting to realize it and share it at the same time. And hopefully this new understanding and this new willingness to dive in, experience our emotions in a healthy way that's allowing us to move through it rather than stuff it or ignore it or shove it down with cakes or substances or Netflix, which I love to do. Maybe that will start to reach critical mass as well. And then we can all, as a species, achieve a new level of understanding. And I want to say evolution, but because we were there before.
Yeah.